You're listening to the Remix Movement Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode.
Hello.
How are you? This is Stephanie and Lewis.
I am good. Thank
and
you.
We're back to bring you another episode.
Yes, we are.
Yes, and this is episode 107.
Oh, yeah.
So, starting with the good, the bad, and the God.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Lewis. You can start this time.
I'll let you go first.
Okay, fine. Because sometimes the women need to go first.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. There
That's
you go.
it.
I love you, babe.
Yes.
All right. So the good is that this week I have been able to finish my second Bible plan on the Bible U version app.
Okay.
So I'm excited to kind of continue on with being more determined with doing a daily devotional. And like I said in the last podcast, if you didn't hear it, I'm still not drinking coffee because I don't want to take that caffeine, and I still want to use that time that I would make my coffee to do my daily devotional.
Okay.
And I lost another pound, so that's another good.
That is good.
All right. The bad, I got very, very sick on Friday. For some reason, I just was not feeling good. I don't think it was COVID at all, but it was just really weird, and my stomach was hurting, my body was hurting. More of it was just like my stomach just not wanting to eat anything. But I'm doing good now, and I'm happy that God was able to heal me, and we're moving forward.
Okay.
And basically, that was my God. Because the good, the bad, and the God. So I guess I'll just put the God
I
in there.
don't know if you can do that, if that's part of the rules. Because
I
I tried that one time, and you told me.
You tried to do something different.
Yeah.
But I'll give another God thing then.
Okay.
I think that God is going to speak in this episode. And this week, he just made me continue to want to talk about dating with purpose. And because this was such a popular segment from last year, last year when we did it, we're going to do it today with a twist. So I feel like God was really just pushing me to talk more about dating. So there you go.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do today.
Awesome.
All right, go ahead, Lewis.
Okay. The good. Still thinking on it. Give me 1 second.
It must have been a good week, Lewis.
No, it was. It really was. But it kind of goes into my bad. So I have to think of a different good.
Why?
Okay, the good. We started our going back into our fertility treatments or whatnot. So the good is that I've already started my process. I got my blood drawn.
Yep.
Early this week, so that was good.
Yep. We still got a few more exams to go.
Yes. The bad. The bad. This week has been kind of uncomfortable at my job. Because for the most part, we've been like on a decline as far as productivity. Just kind of like
slowing down.
Well, it's been slowing down because we've been so much ahead. So now they're trying to pace us, and for me that's kind of uncomfortable. Just because
You're eager to work.
Right. You don't want to have like time wasted or
There you go.
not doing anything. All right. And the God. Let's see. I think that's right. My eyes. I had a checkup for my eyes because I had my LASIK done. And I am now seeing 20/20, and that is
all thanks to God.
exactly that is God's miracle at work. So,
You almost forgot. I had to literally give you a sign.
yeah, that is so true.
But no, we are also happy about that. So
Yes.
anybody who is thinking about getting LASIK surgery or getting any type of eye surgery to help your vision, it is expensive, but it'll be worth it.
I feel it was worth every penny.
Yes. And you know what? We didn't think you would ever get to 2020, right?
I did not. It was kind of unexpected, so I'm glad that
Something you've never had in your life.
I know. Now I see
Clearly.
now.
Don't break out in song.
No, I won't.
All right, so that was the good, the bad, and the God. Yes.
Yes.
So back by popular demand, today, this is episode 107, and we are going to do a little bit of dating with purpose. Instead of answering our listeners' questions, I think that we should just dive in and talk a little bit more about dating and relationships. And just a preview, I think our next episode for Dating with Purpose is probably going to be Valentine's Day.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but for this one, we're going to talk about 3 ways to transform your dating life. And I believe that God is a relational God. I believe that God wants us to be in relationship with him, and he also wants us to be in relationship with others. And not just romantic relationships, but relationships that have to do with coworkers, friends, family, people that you meet at the store, people you meet at the gas station. And God wants us to be relational. Right, Lewis?
Yes, I agree.
What are you looking for?
Nothing. I thought I dropped something. Sorry.
Okay. So he wants us to be relational. And he actually says in Matthew chapter 22, verses 37 to 39, you can go ahead and read it, that he wants us to love him first and then love others.
Yes.
Those are the 2 main greatest commandments. Love God first and then love others. So we're going to help you out with your dating relationships. And actually, if you take these 3 steps into consideration, it would be really good, I think, for anybody that you're potentially considering to date. And I think a lot of these Lewis and I did too. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right. So number 1, right? Number 1 is discuss your relationship fears. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is that to you, Lewis? Talking about what you're scared of in your relationships.
Probably 10.
10?
Yes.
So like when we talk about relationship fears, I think a lot of times people want to talk about all the good things they want and they forget about the bad things.
That is true.
And I think even when we're looking for somebody to date, we write down all the things that we want. Oh, I want him to be like this. I want her to be like that. I want her to have this. But we never talk about the things that we don't want.
Right.
And I think when it comes to dating, some of those fears that we don't really talk about is probably maybe I have a fear that the person I'm with is going to pressure me to be more physical than I really want.
That could be a scenario. Yes.
That could be a fear. Or another fear could be, well, I don't want to feel like I'm not important. And I feel like if you don't tell the person that you're trying to be in a relationship with that these are the fears that you have, you miss out on getting maybe like a little bit more on their expectations.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to know that when I'm in a relationship with Lewis, when we're married, but when we were dating, that what I'm expecting is similar to what he's expecting. And if there is something that he's fearful of, or, you know, maybe he's like, oh, I hope she's not all about the money. And maybe I was a person who was all about the money. That's something that we probably should have talked about if we didn't talk about. And that's part of the fears.
Yes.
All right. So that's number 1. Number 1, discuss your relationship fears. Number 2, agree on boundaries. And
okay.
Boundaries,
kind of boundaries? Yeah.
Yeah, boundaries are healthy. And I do believe that, and I know Lewis agrees. Because boundaries, when we talk about boundaries, most of the time we think about physical boundaries, right? We talk about, well, if I get too hot, too close to her, or it gets overheated, I'm going to want to have sex with them,
Sure.
right? So we're not only just talking about physical boundaries, even though that is a really big one, because in order for you to have healthy relationships, I think it's always best to have more in common with somebody on a deeper level, mentally and emotionally, before you even get to physical.
I agree.
So not just physical boundaries, but also emotional boundaries, right? There may be certain topics in your life that you may not want to talk about. So, for example, if you were in some type of physical abuse in your previous relationship, or if you had a trauma that happened to you, that may be something that you want to tell your partner, hey, I know that we're starting this relationship. I know that we've been in this relationship for X amount of time, but this is a boundary where I'm not ready to get into it yet. Right? And it's not just having boundaries, but also agreeing on it. So maybe the best ones that, you know, in this article that we're talking about that was written by Pastor Mike Todd, the best ones that he gives out is number 1, like set a curfew, right? If you have a curfew, that means that it doesn't go into like late at night and your physical connection with them doesn't get seen too easily.
That's a good one.
Another one he says is, what's a no-go for a touch? So is a hug that lasts too long, like something that's over the boundaries is making out, something that could lead to something so easily, is maybe them touching you at a certain level on your leg. Does that arouse you? It's good for you to know what's a no-go for a touch.
Absolutely.
And then another one is, what else can I do to help you when it comes to boundaries? What is it that I can do that can stop this? So, for example, text messages. Sometimes a simple friendly text message between one person to another person can be a little bit more suggestive. And if it's a little bit more suggestive and it goes into something where like they're talking about sex, they're talking about her body, his body, what you want to do with it, that's kind of like you need to put a boundary there.
Yeah, mixed messages
Exactly.
can go south.
Especially now in the times where like you can send somebody a DM late at night and like it can be considered like a booty call.
Sure.
Right? So agree on boundaries. That's number 2. And the last one, the last way to transform your dating life, this is going to be have focused conversations. And what I mean by this is don't just talk about the roses, the flowers, the chocolates, all the fun lovey-dovey stuff, but talk about a deeper connection. This is when we talk about spiritual life, right? What is it that you can tell me about your spiritual life? And what is it that you want to see us go into in the next year? Because sometimes people get into relationships and they don't talk about what they expect in a year from now. Maybe they don't even think this relationship will last a month. So you want to make sure that you're having focused conversations. Sometimes it's really good for people to consider maybe doing events or doing dates that make you talk to each other a lot more. So like one of the things that Lewis and I used to do, which I thought was fun, was bowling. And when we would go bowling, we would bowl, but there'd be times where we would order food. And while we were bowling and having a good time, we would have to talk to each other. You can't just sit there and not talk.
Right. No, there has to be good conversation.
Exactly. And focused conversation and things that have to do, again, with what your expectations are in a year from now, maybe your Christian beliefs and how that affects your relationship. And, you know, what is it that you can do to make them a better person outside of the relationship? Because there's going to be certain things that the person you're choosing to be with may be more interested in that you're not. So what can you learn from them?
Right.
All right. So those are the 3 things that, like I said, this is all coming from Pastor Mike Todd from Transformation Church. I found this article on Relevant Magazine, and I think these are 3 great tips, 3 great ways to transform your dating life and to make it to something that is healthy and that is worth it, right? And like I said, Lewis and I, we did a lot of these. We definitely agreed on boundaries. We definitely had focused conversations. It was not about, you know, let me just think about what the physical thing is with him, even though, babe, I think you're super cute.
Yes, I
I
am.
love you.
I know.
Wow.
Ha.
A little bit more humble pie.
A little bit.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think this allowed us to grow in our marriage. I think that our marriage is a lot healthier because of these steps that we did take and a few more that we did. When Lewis and I were doing our premarital counseling, we actually read a book together and we did questions together. And I think that's a really good thing also, right, Lewis?
It is definitely brought us on the same page.
I think it was interesting to do that together, to read a book together and then apply it to our marriage, because it definitely helped you out financially with getting ready for budgeting and family thinking and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you guys can really think, what is it that I can do from these 3 things that I have to work on?
Yeah.
And you know what? Another great thing that I just want to mention, right? By applying these 3 ways into your relationship, not only are you helping your relationship out, but you're learning things about yourself. And Pastor Mike Todd has a book called Relationship Goals, and I actually got it from my sister, but I actually bought the challenge that goes with it. And he has a YouTube series that he did when he was younger, and then he has another one that he just recently did that's called Relationship Goals Reloaded. So for any of our listeners that are out there that are listening, that you want to learn more about, how can you have a better, healthy dating life with Christ, definitely check out his YouTube videos and go buy his book. It's called Relationship Goals.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Remix Movement for more updates. Be sure to check out our videos on YouTube and subscribe. Feel free to send us a DM with your feedback, questions, and any topics that you would like to hear in any of our future episodes. Thank you and God bless.